Hey guys, welcome to Indiana.
Indiana celebrates the birthplace of Wilbur Wright.
Hey guys, Tampa J here, and welcome to Indiana, East Henry County, Indiana. Why? Because this is the birthplace of the co-inventor of the airplane. Yes, not this specific F-84 airplane right behind me, but the first airplane. And right beside me, behind my grandfather and my uncle, right there is the house that he was born in. I grew up just a few miles east of here, actually born here, on Wilbur Wright Road, on the back farm roads of Indiana. Sits this home that was built in 1845 and restored to its current state as it still looks now in 1867 by Milton Wright, Wilbur and Orville's father. And let's go inside and take a look. Also behind the home is the museum. Here's a look inside. He was just a toddler when he lived here, but he took his first steps inside this home at only 10.5 months. I think that's pretty young. And I believe I was reading here in what I believe would be the master corner bedroom that his father Milton would brag about how young his son started walking, and from an early age said it was a sign of success. Well, he was absolutely right. Little did he know, him and Orville, his little two boys, would one day invent one of the greatest inventions of all time, the airplane. Here's Milton Wright, the father of Wilbur, and his wife, Susan. If you check out this timeline here, you will see that the Wrights moved around a lot. Here in Indiana, Ohio, Iowa, back to Indiana, and then back to Dayton, where they spent most of their lives. That's where Orville was actually born. Also lived in Fairmount, Indiana, which was birthplace of James Dean. Now that's a sweeper. Antique for sure, look at that. Alright, so let's head upstairs. Let's see what's upstairs. I'm sure this is where the younglings of the Wright family slept. Got some toys over here. A little bed. A little stuffy up here. So these old type of beds, before they had springs, they had ropes. And there they are right there. There's the actual ropes. Where in the old days, if you felt a little like you were wobbling around in bed, you just get this tool here and tighten them up. So right off the front porch of the home, how about them apples? An apple tree. Almost ready to pick, it looks like. Now, if this water's still pumping, I obviously want to drink it, because you never know. If I drink from the same fountain that Wilbur did, who knows what I'll invent. We got a giant refrigerator out here where they would hang and cure the meat and cook the lard. Iron kettle for scalding hog and rendering lard. And then over here you have an actual lard press. We have the barn. Wonder what they did in the barn. Yep, they had a cow. Good old Daisy here, and I believe that was the name of the actual cow that the Wright family owned. Look at this old corn sheller. This is how you would shell the old corn. And there's a lot of corn in Indiana. But we're learning today there is actually more than corn in Indiana. I guess you put it in there and crank her up. But they got her on lockdown, so actually you would probably put one of these in there. So you take one of these and just throw it on in there and go to town. And that's how you know it's almost time to go, when it starts falling over like that. A fun fact, this outhouse is original. We're going in. Oh my goodness, there's some cobwebs in here. And nope, I thought for a second those were, nope, those are just pine cones, ladies and gentlemen. Whew. Well guys, it's time to venture over to the museum and see what we can find over there. Come along with me, much ahead. Nothing happens unless first a dream. And that's what Orville Wright and Wilbur Wright were obviously thinking growing up here in East Indiana to invent this thing, the first airplane. This is a replica of the Wright Flyer, the first airplane to fly on December 17th, 1903 in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. What did Neil Armstrong carry with him on the moon? A piece of the wing covering from the original Wright Flyer. So beyond the scale model of the original Wright Flyer, past this awesome mural of Kitty Hawk, we have something called Main Street. And here you go. Here's Main Street. Check this out. Shave and a haircut. 2 bits, which is about 25 cents. This is kind of showing what life was like in the early 1900s. Miss Evelyn's dress shop. And here we are at Wright Cycle Company, a model of the Wright brothers bicycle shop, and that's how they started. All the mechanics came from the bicycle. They also sold and created bicycles. And I thought this cool fact here on the counter, I saw this little note here. William Austin Lincoln, a third cousin of President Abraham Lincoln, bought the first bicycle the brothers built. And here's a cool model of Mr. Wilbur working on an actual bicycle. Where did Wilbur graduate from high school? Richmond, Indiana. The same as my great-grandfather. So you see how Wilbur's laying there and he's controlling, that's the joystick, I would say, of the actual front flaps. And over here they have a little scale model where you can actually do it yourself. Alright, I'm gonna try it out. Let's see. Just like a Wright brother. And thank you, Uncle Rob. I don't think it's getting anywhere. But it's fun though, just kind of doing this. Alright, so I thought this was a cool way to kind of give you a rundown of the first flights and what happened at Kitty Hawk. Flight number one, 12 seconds and 120 feet. Flight number 2, 12 seconds, 175 feet. And flight number 3, 15 seconds, 200 feet. So outside I showed you the first, second, and third flights, and then here we have the fourth flight at noon. And that one was 59 seconds and 852 feet. And the pilot was Mr. Hoosier himself, Wilbur Wright. So the first aircraft that ever flew a 59 feet per second and weighed 740 pounds with these 2 back propellers. And that's what did it. It was the invention of these propellers that changed the history of the world, you can say. Nothing happens unless you first dream.
Look at that thing.
Oh wow. Is that really signed?
That's real, yeah.
So inside,
With it, it says to Jack Shank.
the nice lady behind the cash register happened to hand us this photo, and it's real, ladies and gentlemen.
So I didn't know
Actually
what it was,
signed
but it
by
was
Charles
important.
Lindbergh, a flyer of the Spirit of St. Louis, the first man to fly across the ocean. Well, you've got the shot glasses, the hat, the mugs, more mugs up there, and all kinds of awesome souvenirs, and of course t-shirts. And over beyond here, I believe my grandfather is signing in to the guest book. I'll have to put down old Tampa J here. I am intending a trip to the coast of North Carolina for the purpose of making some experiments with a flying machine. I think there's a slight possibility of achieving fame and fortune from it. And at any rate, I shall have any outing and see a part of the world I have never before visited. I really like that, Wilbur. And you were right, sir. You were most definitely right. That's why they call you a Wright brother. Just beyond the Wright's home, past the airplane, past the gift shop, you have the actual monument for Mr. Wilbur Wright, born April 16th, 1867, in the home right behind me, and died days after the Titanic had sank in 1912.
I turned down 36 people.
Oh, heavens, no.
Good Lord, no. That's when Art got up and said, I forgot me and you and Jay were...
Well guys, we come a little down the road to New Lisbon, Indiana, and on the roadside we found this thing. My grandpa wanted to take me over here and show me this specifically. It looks like the gentleman that lives on this property allows people to come and take photos, but look at the masterpiece he's created. You got a bear there, you got a snake, a rattlesnake, and look at that, the eagle grabbing, I would say, a salmon or a trout as the Native American towers above. And this is a lot of good work here, a lot of time consuming, and I believe, can't really read the name, but April 27th, 2018, so wasn't very long ago. But again guys, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the birthplace, the home, the museum of Mr. Wilbur Wright, the co-inventor of the airplane. Thanks to my Uncle Rob and my Grandpa Ron for joining me and showing me some cool places. I really appreciate the time with family and be able to take them along with me as I create a video. Nothing like that. It's kind of been a great day. It's been a fantastic day. So that all being said, there's definitely much ahead, my friends. Much ahead.